I'm the court administrator. Turn it off. I'm going to tell you one more time, and then you
What's
can
your
get
name,
arrested.
sir? Arrested for what?
Disorderly conduct.
Is this not the United States of America?
Turn it off. The phone's coming out of your hands.
It's not.
There's a lot of government buildings that say you can't record.
There's a chance you could be filming victims of crimes and all that, which they have to protect the victims of crimes.
I just want to know if I'm detained, because I'd like to get out of here.
You're being detained.
I'm still detained. It doesn't work that way. Even if I'm arrested, you still can't go into my phone and erase it. Hey, what's up guys? Long Island Audit here, back again with another video. Today we are at the Perrysburg Municipal Courthouse here in Ohio. We are here today, as always, to peacefully exercise our First Amendment right to film in public and publicly accessible areas, to promote transparency and accountability within our government, and to ensure that our public servants recognize our rights and treat us with respect. Let's get into it. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we're just getting inside the municipal courthouse here. Let's take a look around. We are immediately greeted with our friendly reminders that the government is always recording us, even though it always seems to be an issue when we, the people, record the government. Let's hope that's not the case here today. I wonder if they have something that talks about the First Amendment. No, ma'am, thank you. I appreciate that, though. Thank you.
We do have a local court rule that we don't allow videoing in the courthouse.
In the courthouse?
Yes.
Where is that rule?
It's if you go to our website, which is perrysburgcourt.com. There, when you're on the homepage, there's a blue box that has some things you can choose from. One of those says local court rules. It'll download I think it's like 75-page PDF of the local court rules, and it will tell you in there. I want to say it's.
And it's not for the courtrooms, it's for
Correct,
the courthouse?
It's for the courthouse.
Why wouldn't that be posted anywhere here?
Because it's on a local court rule, so you can get it on our website. So,
Right. What if
yeah.
somebody didn't have access to the internet? You know, how would anybody know? Why wouldn't it be posted, the rule here?
Well, that's why we come out and tell people that,
Right.
that they're not permitted to video
And
in
what
the
is
courthouse.
is that a rule that the city implemented?
That would be a rule that the court or the judge implemented.
The court
The
or the
city
judge?
doesn't handle the court. The court is run by the judge.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, it's just my opinion that rule's for anti-transparency. What's the purpose of the rule?
That was not my rule. That's something you would have to ask the judge about.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, I'm just going to continue. I'm an independent journalist. What was your name?
I'm Carrie.
Carrie, my
Yeah.
name is Sean. I'm an
That's
independent
nice to meet you.
journalist. Yeah, I'm just taking some pictures of video of the publicly accessible areas. I don't want to go in the courtroom or anything
Okay.
like that.
Okay.
So I understand that there's some rule, but I'm just going to continue exercising my rights.
Okay. Well, I mean, if the court bailiff comes up, then he'll handle it with you
Right.
as well.
No
So, but yes,
problem.
that is one of our local court rules. If you want, I can print out the local court rules for you so you can see them.
Sure. Why not?
Okay.
Yeah, thanks.
All right.
Yeah. So, since when do rules trump the United States Constitution? What is this rule protecting by me recording in a publicly accessible area like this? Nothing. There's no privacy concerns. No one's been upset or, annoyed, even though we really shouldn't care about people's feelings. We should care about our constitutional rights.
Camera off.
Excuse me, sir?
Turn your camera off.
Who
Not
are you?
allowed to record in here.
Who are you, sir?
I'm the court administrator. Turn it off.
I just want
Turn
to
it
know who
off.
you are. What's your name?
Turn it off.
Do you see
I'm
the
gonna tell
difference
you-
between
I'm gonna tell you one
between
more
you
time.
and the woman that just came out here?
I'm going to tell you one more time, and then you
What's
can
your
get
name, sir?
arrested.
Arrested for what?
Disorderly conduct, obstructing official business.
I'm not obstructing anything. This is my
Yes, you
First
are.
Amendment right. You're not even a law enforcement officer,
You
sir.
don't have a First Amendment right in this building.
Of course I do.
You're not allowed to
Is this not the
record.
United States of America?
Turn it off.
Are you a law enforcement officer, sir?
Yes. Yes.
You are a law enforcement
Yes.
officer? So you can effect arrests?
Yes. Turn it off.
I would like to speak to the bailiff downstairs. I'd like to speak to an actual law enforcement
I'm the court
officer.
administrator, and I'm also a law enforcement officer.
How are you a law enforcement officer and a court administrator?
Why does that concern you?
Because impersonating a law enforcement officer is a crime, sir.
Then you can go file charges against me. I'm a law enforcement officer. Why are you filming in the building?
That
You're not
probably
allowed
would
to
have been your
film in the
first
building.
question that you could have asked me instead of coming to me so aggressively. What's your name, sir?
Scott.
Scott, my name is Sean. I'm an independent journalist. All I'm doing
You're not
is...
allowed to record in this building. It's a local court rule.
And the clerk is getting me the rule so I can look at it. There is no signage,
meantime,
Scott. There is no
turn your
signage.
phone off.
There is no signage that is posted here for me to know. So she's getting me the court rule so I can look at it and be aware. I need to be advised of the,
Turn your phone off.
but I need to be advised of the rule and see the rule.
No,
I just
you
want to
do not.
read the rule.
You do not.
Yes, you do. You have to be made aware of the rule. This is not a
I'm
crime.
telling you what the rule is.
Hey, sir,
your
how are
phone
you?
off right now. Turn it off.
Sir, I'm going to ask you to de-escalate. There's no law being
I
broken
don't
here.
care what you would like me to do.
Okay, so
I'm
why should I care what you
repeatedly
like?
asking you
She's
because
getting me
it's
the
a local
rule.
court
She's
rule.
getting me the court rule to read.
Okay, the phone's coming out of your hands.
It's not. That would be a violation of my rights. You have I'm not breaking any law, sir. Why would the phone come out of my hand?
Let me ask you something. What's your business here today?
Yeah, I was just going to ask some questions to the clerk, and I'm an independent journalist. I explained to... All right, guys, so unfortunately my camera malfunctioned and stopped the recording. I didn't notice at first because I am looking directly at the person I'm talking to, not my camera. When I did notice, I immediately began recording again. I take full responsibility. I should have had my body camera on me. I won't make this mistake again. The missing footage only contains more of me being polite and asserting my constitutional rights to the court administrator who had been hostile with me from the start. No one's asked me to leave.
No, Scott's asking.
I just did a minute ago.
No, you did not.
No,
You said to
he-
turn off the phone.
Okay.
Can I, ma'am, can I see the rules?
You can get online.
Listen, until
I missed the chance to see the rules? Are you kidding
until we
me?
get this
I
figured
told
out,
you
I'm
where
gonna
they
ask
are.
you to leave, okay?
All right, I'll wait for the PD. That's the first time. I want to make it clear. The first time someone's asked me to leave. You told me a million times to turn off the phone.
You didn't listen.
Sorry, ma'am. It's absolutely ridiculous the way you guys are acting today. Really. Especially you, Scott.
I don't really care.
All
what
right,
you think
that's
is or
fine.
isn't ridiculous. All you had to do was shut your phone off.
All you had to do was show me the rules. She printed out the
I don't
rules.
have
She
to
was
show
very
you the
nice to me.
rules.
And she said, I will show you the rules. And I said,
I
okay,
don't
no
have to
problem.
show 'em to you.
And she has them printed out. You say, don't show it to him.
No, you missed that chance.
She has the rules printed out and you
could
don't
have
show it
complied
to
with
him.
that earlier.
What do you mean? I never saw the rule.
I don't have to show you the rule.
Hi, ma'am. How are you? I'm going to talk to you outside.
Okay, well, turn off the camera, the recording.
Yeah, I'm outside. I can record. So I'm just going to go outside and record.
Okay, but you're not stopping the recording now.
But I'm going outside.
They asked you to stop the recording prior to this.
Right. But that's not. But that wasn't a law. Listen. I want to explain to you outside, so that way there's no confusion here. Can I get your name and badge number, ma'am?
Yes, it's Officer Parcel, badge number 91. The
Okay,
reason-
officer. I just
Can
want to explain to you
explain?
exactly. Well, I was there, so I just want to explain to you exactly what happened. So I just went upstairs. I'm an independent journalist. My name is Sean. I'm an independent journalist. I was asking questions. A clerk came up to me very nicely and she said, "Sir, we have a local rule here, not a law, a rule, which judges enforce rules, not law enforcement." So she said, "We have a local rule here that you cannot record." I said, "Is that in the courthouse, or is it itself, or is it in the courtroom? Because some rules say the courtroom, some rules say the courthouse." She said, "It's the courthouse." I said, "Well, would you mind if I take a look at that rule?" She said, "No problem. I'll go print it out for you." That was the interaction. She left. Scott, the court administrator, came out and said, "Turn off your phone." He started escalating the situation, started freaking out, and me doing nothing wrong. All I said was, "I'm waiting for the rule. I want to see the rule. I need to be advised of the rule." That's why usually when there's no recording in places, they have signage. Due to local rule, blah, 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 you cannot record in here. So I said, "I was waiting for the rule. That's it." So he starts telling me, "Turn off your camera now." He tells the bailiff to take my phone, all these other things. I said, "I have a First Amendment right." He said he was law enforcement. I don't know how a court administrator is law enforcement. Something probably you should look into, somebody impersonating law enforcement. He said he was law enforcement. I don't know. But all I said was, "I want to see the rule." That's it. The woman comes out very nicely. She says, "Here's the rules." He says, "No, don't give it to him." And then the bailiff says, "Well, now I'm going to ask you to leave." And that's when you saw me coming down the elevator. And I said, "Okay, I'll wait for law enforcement outside." That's all that's going on here. There's nothing. I'm not being disorderly. I'm not doing anything
The call that
unlawful.
we got, called is they told you need to stop recording, and then when you didn't, they told you that you need to leave.
No.
So-
That's why I have it all recorded, ma'am. This is exactly why I record my interactions with government officials. And when I was told to leave, All Scott ever did, the court administrator, would say, turn off your phone. He told the bailiff to take my phone. The bailiff said, I'm not going to take his phone because I don't want to violate his rights. Let's wait for the local PD to come. So I said, okay, let's wait for them. And then the bailiff says, well, you know, you can get charged with criminal trespassing. And I said, well, no one's asking me to leave. He's like, well, I'm going to ask you to leave right now. And I said, okay, if you're asking me to leave, I'll wait for PD outside. That's it. I'm not... I travel around the country. I investigate governments. This is what I do. I'm an activist. I work with law enforcement as well on First Amendment rights. If there's a rule, I just wanted to see it. I don't think that was too unreasonable of a request. I don't know if somebody's lying to me or not.
So they should have them posted.
Right.
And I can't tell you right now off the top of my head where they're posted. I know that
No, they're
we have
not.
them posted on our buildings. You can't record inside any of the city buildings, so there should be their own recording. Can you check to see where the signs are posted on where saying that you can't record like how we have them?
Ma'am, I'm telling you, I was in there and there's no signs. And then when I'm asking the court administrator, who's in charge of the regulations of this building, enforcing them anyway, I told him, I said, where are the signs? He says, I don't have to post anything for you. And I said, well, can I at least see a copy? And the clerk, she was very nice. She said, here's the copy, sir. And as she was giving me the copy of the rules so I could read it, he says, nope, he ordered her not to give it to me. Does that make any sense? If you want me to understand a rule and know that a rule exists, you would let me see the rule. Okay, there's no rule. Okay, there is a rule. I'm not trying to be held in contempt of court, violate a judge's rule. I know I'm not going to get anywhere with that. Like I said, this is what I do. I promote transparency in government. That's all I'm asking for. I was asking questions. What services do you provide to the public? Just to see. That's it. If I would have seen a sign with a law or rule attached to it, you know, I would have questioned the constitutionality of it, but that was something that I would do in a federal lawsuit. And again, the first time I was asked to leave, and I have it all on recording, the first time I was asked to leave, I started making my way towards the elevator. Because my objective here is not to get arrested and that's not what I want. File lawsuits. People are like, oh, you just want to you want us to violate your rights so you can file a lawsuit. No, I don't. I don't want you to violate my rights, and I don't want to be arrested. I'm here to promote transparency.
Well, it sounds like there's some miscommunication.
Right.
going
Sounds like
on.
somebody's lying, and that's why I record my interaction with law enforcement. Sir, you mind if I get your name and badge number?
Yeah. Name's Officer Lord. Badge number's 33.
Thank you, sir. I appreciate that. Thank you. Did you see the signs?
1 second so I can talk to him.
You want me to talk there and then?
Okay, yeah, no problem, no problem. Yeah. Just to make it clear to everybody, there are no signs posted anywhere.
Yeah.
And like I said, ma'am, it's all recorded. So if they want to say that if they want to lie against me and say like, oh, you know, we told them multiple times to leave. They told me multiple times to turn off the recording. It is not inherently illegal. I will admit that. They told me multiple times to turn off the recording, but it's not inherently illegal. And plus, if he's law enforcement, I have a right to film law enforcement. You know that. So he said he identified himself as law enforcement.
You can film law enforcement. I have no problem. That's why I'm letting you record me while we're outside. The issue is that, like I said, for all the city buildings, which this is attached to our city, the police department, and it's attached to the municipal building, which is the city offices, there's postage saying that you cannot record inside.
Right.
So, and that.
But there's not anything posted here. You have to advise people by
He's
being posted.
saying that there's rules against the court that you don't have to have that posted. So he's printing off that information. We're going to get that information, and we'll go from there on what they want to do. But basically, there's a lot of government buildings that say you can't record, and they don't have to have postings inside or outside saying that.
Well, they do. Okay.
That's something that's just
fine. Like I said, I film in a lot of government buildings across the country, and you know, it's just for transparency, asking questions of my government, and you know, some of them say you can't. In the NYPD, they say you can't. I got a federal judge to say you can. Again, if it has to go that way, it has to go that way. I left when told to leave. The rule is not a statute that you can arrest me for. It's not a statute. It's not something it's not at least that I know of. I've never heard of this rule, but it's not a statute. You don't get charged with it.
Have like their own
Right.
for their
But the
court.
judge is the ones that enforce it, not local law enforcement. The judge is the one that, it would be a contempt of court charge.
would still be involved in this. Like, their concern is that they asked you to leave. They told you
That's
stop
not true.
recording,
It's not true.
and then that didn't happen. So then, of course, they're going to call us.
That's not true. So am I being detained at this time? I just want to know. Okay.
Like I said, we're trying to figure out.
Can I
what's
speak to a
going on.
supervisor as well? That's all right. There's one available.
91 to 83.
Good.
Are you available to stop over here? He's requesting to speak with a supervisor.
Yeah.
The differences between the court administrator and the clerk. All she said was, you can't record in here, sir. I understand. If you have any questions, I can answer you. I said, well, can I see the rules? She said, yeah, not a problem. She goes to get the rules, and in the meantime, while she's getting the rules so I can look at them and comply with the rules, if I don't want to, piss off a judge, it's not my intent. So I wanted to make sure they exist. Some people say things that aren't true, right? Some people say things that aren't true. They'll say, well, I've been in that scenario a lot of times. They'll say, you can't record in here. And I'll say, well, what's the law of the statute? And they'll be like, you just can't record in here. And then they call the police department. The police department says, well, actually, you can record in here. It's a public building. So if I just complied with anybody telling me something, I would never exercise my constitutional rights. Some people are ignorant and they say things that aren't true. Sometimes they are true. I just wanted verifiable fact that it was true or not. I just wanted to, and the clerk was so nice about it. And she comes with the paper to hand it to me, and he's like, nah, don't give it to him. Does that make any sense? If you want to enforce a rule, or if you're thinking that I'm breaking a rule, why wouldn't you want me, here, sir, here's the rule that you're breaking. Now, if you don't comply with breaking the rule, if you don't comply with our rule, then you're going to be in some sort of trouble or whatever.
No, I get it. That's why I asked the other officer.
Hey, sir, how are you?
Good, how are you?
My name is Sean. Do you mind if I get your name and badge number?
That's Sergeant McGuffin with number 83.
Sergeant, so the problem I'm having here is that, I walked inside, I am a First Amendment activist. I ask questions. I'm an independent journalist. I told you my name is Sean. I was just asking some questions of people inside. A clerk came out. She was very nice. She said, sir, there's a local rule that you cannot record for the courthouse. And I said, okay, can I see the rule? And she said, sure, let me go get you a copy of it. So I waited where I was. While she's there, a court administrator says, turn off your phone now, starts freaking out on me, escalating the situation. And
Can I ask a question?
yeah.
Where was your phone pointed? Was it in towards the windows where they have all the paper?
Well, no, I was far away. I didn't even go up to the
weren't in a
windows.
courtroom?
No, in the courtroom. No. And I asked her that.
You're at the windows.
No, I was in front. I was when you first walk in from the elevator, that's it. And I asked her, I said, can I see the rules? Because I've dealt with this before. Sometimes it says the courtroom, sometimes it says different places. So I just wanted to clarify what it was. Sometimes people tell me you can't record and they have no idea what they're talking about. So I just said, okay. And the cops and the police come and they're like, well, he can record, right? So I just wanted to see the rules. So she said, yeah, she was very nice. She said, sure, no problem. Then Scott comes out and he's like, I'm a law enforcement officer. I'm telling you to stop recording. And I was like, can I see the rule? He's like, no, you're not going to see the rule. The administrator comes out, the clerk comes out, and she says, here are the rules, sir. And I said, oh, okay, thank you. And he's like, no, don't give him the rules. There's nothing posted, sir. There's nothing that would make me understand or know that there is a rule other than somebody telling me, and they could be lying. It's not a law enforcement officer. It's not you. It's not somebody official. Some guy in a suit telling me
That's the clerk of court, or the chief bailiff.
Right. But again, I had no idea. So he told me he's a court administrator. I think he's some sort of administrator. And then at the end of the day, he's not a law enforcement officer. He can't effect arrests outside of the courthouse.
He signs warrants and all that.
Right.
So he is the chief bailiff.
Right. So all I was saying is that, and then once one of the bailiffs inside said, all right, until we figure this out, leave. Until we figure this out. And I said, all right, no problem. I'll leave. I'll wait for law enforcement. He said, we called law enforcement. The bailiff says, I don't want to violate your rights. Let's figure this out. Let's, we could look at the rule. Because sometimes rules have specific areas in the courthouses.
That would be my guess. My
Right.
understanding would be not in a courtroom or anywhere that window.
Right.
There's a lot of sensitive information on the backside of that window. 'Cause
Right.
that's where
Well, going up
tickets-
to the window, I did not do. Again, I was looking at the window. I was looking at different things that are on the window. I didn't go past the window. I'm not trying. My intent is not. I identify. My name is Sean. I work with law enforcement across the country on First Amendment activism rights, on our rights.
And you still have yet to see those rules?
No, I've not seen the rules, and I've not. When the clerk came out to give me the rules, he said, "Don't give it to him." That doesn't make any sense.
Like I said, the only other thing I think might be an issue is if you somehow are interfering with court proceedings or anything like that. Which, if you're
I mean, I
asking
think
people questions,
I was just, that's it. I mean, I wasn't being, I was talking in the same level as I'm talking to you. I'm a very respectful person. I'm not trying to break the law. I'm not trying to, agitate anybody. I'm here to peacefully exercise my First Amendment right. That's all I'm doing. And if there's a rule, I just wanted to see it.
No,
I mean, it should be posted. I said it should be clear and conspicuously posted for the public to see. You know, you can't just say, oh, there's a rule that, you know, no hats allowed, but then there's no rule posted. Like, it needs to be clear and conspicuously posted. You know, I've dealt with these kinds of rules before.
But I think that's more dress code for court appearances. I don't
Right.
know if it's-
And then I saw a sign on the courtroom door that says there is no electronic devices allowed in the courtroom. So again, everything I'm seeing is not telling me that I'm doing anything wrong.
From everything you've told me, I don't see how any laws, obviously, but court rules. I mean, if you're in violation of some sort of court rule, they would have to charge you with contempt, which is a judge.
Right. And that's what I was explaining. That's what I was explaining to the officer here, that I'm not breaking any laws. You know, if there's a rule, then sure, the judge can
It would
do
be a contempt of court.
contempt
which
of
is
court.
then on them.
Right.
It's not something we charge with.
Right.
So I can go inside, see where Officer Lohr is. And
Yeah, and again, you could take a look. There's no signs or anything. I think it's reasonable to ask. I'm not in a courtroom. I'm not filming anything confidential. I think it's reasonable to ask, can I see a copy of the rules? That's it.
No,
And I mean, I think that's a pretty reasonable request. But the court administrator, Scott, he just didn't want to. He was letting his ego get the best of him. I deal with law enforcement all the time. I'm not anti-law enforcement. I'm just pro-rights. That's it. And pro-transparency.
Ah.
Hey, sir.
So this is the municipal code. This is all filed through the Ohio Supreme Court and is approved by them.
Okay.
And it's because of the size of our court, they said, when you're going upstairs, there's a chance you could be filming victims of crimes and all that, which they have to protect the victims of crimes. Okay?
Well, couldn't you film victims? I understand what you're saying, and I no problem with it. I'm just saying you could film victims of crimes on the sidewalk walking into the court, right?
there's a higher chance that you're going to be videotaping a victim in that room than out here, I guess.
Right. Well, anybody that walks in could potentially be a victim. That's what I'm talking about. How would I know up there?
No, I'm saying, how would you know that they're actually going into the court?
Right. Oh, I mean, this is the courthouse, right?
Well, I mean, if they're just out here.
I'm saying I could film
yeah.
anybody. I'm just saying the reasonableness of it. You know, I understand. I'm just saying the reasonableness of me to, you know, that I could film everybody walking in, but once they're in, you can't film them anymore because I can film right here from the sidewalk, right? I'm just saying. Go ahead, sir. I didn't mean to interrupt you. Go ahead.
Right.
Go ahead,
So,
sir.
In this, I mean, they said they don't normally have give it to you. They said that you can find all this online.
Yeah, that's
You
what
go
they
through,
told
like,
me.
the Ohio Supreme Court and all that. You can find the local law,
Right.
or local codes and all that. Okay. So in this packet, Rule 9.04, video recording prohibited. The use of video recording or videotaping devices and the use of still photography devices inside the Prairie Municipal Court shall be prohibited.
Right.
Okay, so under that code right there, that's the reasoning for why you can't be up in there. Okay, all this is approved and everything by the Ohio Supreme Court.
Right.
So it's coming down from them. It's not just.
And that's all I wanted to see was the actual. All I wanted to see was the
And they
rule.
said you can have this.
Okay, perfect.
And I have a sticky note.
I didn't
right
want to
at the
have
top.
it. I don't need to have
Where it's
it.
at,
For
okay?
your concerns, I'm going to go speak with them, see if they can maybe post that.
Right. Yeah. No. I don't even need to have it. I'll take it. But you know, I didn't want to keep it. I just wanted to see the actual rule because a lot of times people lie to me. They say, you know, you can't record in here, and then you know, it turns out I can. So I just wanted to see the rule, be advised of the rule. I'm not trying to get held in contempt of court by a judge. You know, I'm never going to win that.
Contempt. It said maybe like a disorderly because you'd have to be in front of the judge for it to be contempt. But
Right.
It said,
But
your opinions-
you could. There's such thing as indirect. And there's indirect contempt, and it's definitely. That's what he told me. He says, I said, sir, what would I be arrested for? He said, disorderly conduct. I'm like, it's not disorderly conduct. I was like, you know, it has to be some type of conduct that's actual disorderly. I know the statute. I mean, but again, I've worked with officers here in Ohio.
I'll go discuss that with them.
It could be because he told you that there was a rule against you recording and you continue to record.
Right, but that's not in and of itself disorderly conduct. It's disorderly conduct is actual my conduct that would be disorderly, not just not listening to some random guy who says that there's a rule. You know, again,
Well, it's not
like
a
he said, like
random guy. He's
right,
the
he's the court administrator.
administrator.
Right. But to me, I didn't know who he was at first. He's like, I'm not telling you who I am. At the end, sure, but he came up to me very aggressively. And again, all I wanted to see was the rule. I didn't think it was a big deal to see the rule.
Well, now that we're done with that and you have the...
Am I being detained any longer?
No, but since you were in violation, are you able to just delete the video that when you were inside? You can keep the recording of when you were outside talking with us.
Well, no, unless I'm being forced to under threat of arrest or threat of contempt, I'm not going to. Just it's my right to record.
It's
many
not
people were
your
up in
right,
there?
though.
Not. I mean, I think it was. There was nobody in there that was.
That's what he wants to do.
Yeah, I'll go speak with them again because of the victims being up,
Right.
potentially being up there. They might.
Well, that's fine. I just want to know if I'm detained because I'd like to get out of here.
For a minute, yeah.
I'm still detained.
Until we can figure out what they want to do, because you were in violation. They provided that.
Right. So what is sir, I just don't want to put down my phone. What does it say on there? The consequences of the violation? What does it say that the
I'm not
consequences
sure
would be?
what the consequences are. It just shows the rules.
Normally in the rules it'll say something along the line of
You still maybe approved pursuant to municipal court, local code if you get approval through them.
so it doesn't say.
It doesn't say.
Normally it will say, this is a violation of, again, if it's, I just know it's not disorderly conduct. So that, I mean, if you want to arrest me for disorderly conduct, go ahead. That's an easy charge to beat because I didn't do it. I wasn't disorderly. He's cursing. He was cursing and screaming and raising his voice. I've been talking the same thing the whole time.
The issue is that you have the recording where you're not supposed
Right,
to be recording and
But again, I did not know. I did not see a rule. No one showed me a rule. There's no rule posted conspicuously.
showed you now.
Now,
So-
right. And now I'm already out of the courthouse after
But
you showed me.
You have the recording that was inside that.
Right.
That's why they prevent you.
It just doesn't work that way. It doesn't work that way. You could just, erase. Even if I'm arrested, even if I'm arrested, you still can't go into my phone and erase it, right? You still can't. You need a warrant.
Well, we'll see if he wants to charge you that.
All right. I mean, saying even if you arrest me, it doesn't solve the problem of the recording. It's not going to get erased. You can't just go into people's phone and erase their footage. I'm not going anywhere. You tell me I'm detained, I'm staying right here. Tell me I'm under arrest, I'm not going to fight you. I'm not going to run. Not a threat to you guys. All right. I just want to make that clear. Thank you. Have a good day. All right, guys. So we're just getting out of the Perrysburg Municipal Court here in Ohio. I thought for sure we were going to get arrested, without a doubt. I had no doubt in my mind I was going to get arrested. That female officer, she was pushing it for me to delete my footage. The court administrator, Scott, definitely wanted me arrested. Wow. I was like, oh man, I'm really not trying to get arrested right now for, contempt of court. Because you could be held in indirect contempt of court when it's not in front of the judge. And contempt of court's impossible to beat. You're not going to beat that charge. The judge is going to sentence you up to 30 days. I don't know how the contempt works here in Ohio, but he's going to sentence you to direct jail time and, and or fines. And there's nothing you could do to beat it because who you're going to, it's the judge's rule. Whether I believe it to be unconstitutional or not, it's his rule. I believe that all courthouses across this country should be open to transparency because what is the reason behind it? To protect victims, they said. I can sit out here all day and film victims walking inside, as I told the law enforcement officers. It's just not a reasonable rule. It's always to protect victims. There's a woman upstairs in that window right there. Is she a victim? I don't know. Am I filming her from outside? Yes, I am. So that makes the rule unreasonable. If it's to protect victims, if it's to protect sensitive files, that should be on the clerks to protect the sensitive files. Because if I really wanted to, I can look at them and write all down. If I can see the confidential information, I can write it all down on a piece of paper. Again, that's what makes these rules and unconstitutional executive orders and policies unreasonable, is that it doesn't protect from anything other than it's anti-transparency. You wouldn't be able to see how Scott acted here today, how law enforcement, how the clerks acted. Shout out to the clerk. She was very nice. She handled the situation very professionally. She was going to hand me this municipal court rules right from the start. But Scott, in his ego, wouldn't allow him to do it. Said I was committing disorderly conduct. Absolutely ridiculous. The only person committing disorderly conduct was him. And, as I was filming, I noticed, ladies and gentlemen, that my camera had stopped in the middle of me talking to Scott. I didn't have a backup camera on me, so it's unfortunate that, we lost a bit of footage there, but, it was basically just Scott freaking out on me, telling me that he wanted me to turn off the recording. He never told me to leave. He just said, turn off your recording right now. So at least these law enforcement officers, they didn't jump the gun and arrest me for disorderly conduct or do anything like that. We're able to be a free man here today, and that's always a good thing. But we got to expose another anti-transparency court system here in Perrysburg, Ohio, and another tyrant, Scott, who was a complete tyrant. He just wasn't a nice person at all, really. Very ego-driven, you know, wanted to escalate the situation, didn't have no people skills whatsoever. You know, we could stand out here and record Scott all day from the parking lot. I'm sure he wouldn't like that either. He would consider that disorderly conduct. But he's not worth our time. We already exposed him. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. As always, stay safe. God bless. I'll see you in the next video. Long Island Audit. Peace.